Hello and welcome to Ways to Wellbeing, the number one podcast coming out of Wells Street in Inverness, the home of Partnerships for Wellbeing.
Yes, it's also, as far as we know, the only podcast coming out of Wells Street in Inverness.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nicola Mackenzie, for it is she.
No problem, Jeff Szynski.
For it is me.
And this week, if you're interested in walking and writing,
but not necessarily simultaneously,
we have a great guest lined up. But before that,
I think we should talk about ourselves for a couple of minutes.
Why not? Our favourite topic.
Yes, because we've been on the telly and we've been in the papers.
We have indeed. Isla Todd from the BBC picked up a story about the shortage of wheelchair accessible taxis in Inverness.
Yes, it's amazing how many people saw that. And I think people were really genuinely shocked at how few wheelchair taxis there are in Inverness compared with the central belt.
The Nine's Isla Todd has the story.
There are only 9 wheelchair accessible taxis that operate in the city, and usually they're booked out on contract work. So catching one is the luck of the draw. But a local charity has put the wheels in motion and bought a second-hand taxi which has been booked up since launching last month.
We always knew there was an unmet demand, but I think we were surprised, indeed shocked by the level of interest. Word got around very quickly. I mean, we're still in the pilot stage of this project. We're still training our volunteer drivers to use the new car, but the phones have been going pretty crazy with people saying...
And as you can see, Isla also reported on our community transport and also our pilot wheelchair transport service. And it may be a coincidence, but on the back of that, we've also heard we've just been granted £2,000 from the Arnold Clark Community Fund.
Thank you very much. And
we've also just recently heard that we have received funding from the Albert Hunt Trust.
That's right, the Albert Hunt Trust, another £2,000. They're a charity that helps disabled people.
Yeah, and this money will just help keep our cars on the road.
Yes, fuel, maintenance, all of that, tax insurance, all of that. So thank you to everybody who helps us with our services here.
Thanks so much.
And speaking of wee bits of money, we've had recognition for our cheery book club from none other than the Scottish Book Trust.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they've given us just a wee bit of money so that we can take part in Scottish Book Week later in the year.
Yeah, and speaking of books, that leads us nicely to this week's podcast guest. Mm-hmm. He's an author, he's a walker, a performer, and he's going to tell us about hot tenting, which is actually as steamy as it sounds.
I hope it is.
So head over to listen to our podcast on all the usual podcast platforms. Just search Ways to Wellbeing.